live again on this Sunday afternoon, and joining us today, we've got three of the mafiosos. Not all four, but we got three of the mafiosos. There's myself, Howard, and Ray. Howard and Ray, how are you guys doing?
Excellent. Doing fantastic.
Awesome. That is awesome to hear.
We're alive, so another day, man.
Yeah, another day upright. Can't complain about that at all.
Absolutely.
Well, we have plenty of stuff to talk about, both from the show trail as well as our own personal projects and things that are coming up. So I think we can jump into those conversations. For folks that are out there, as you join the audience, please remember, if you have questions about anything related to HiFi or AV or any of those things, we are here to answer your questions. If you have a question about speakers, if you have questions about a HiFi show, if you have questions about whatever it might be, get those out there and we will get the answer to you that you need. But, first off, Howard, you were telling me a story about the delivery that you got for your powered transformer. I think that, can we talk a little bit about that? Because I thought that was pretty cool.
Sure. My isolation transformer. Let me back up a second. Yeah. So I'm building this room that's supposed to be like state of the art. It was designed by Malakpur Design Partners, who did Snoop Dogg's room and Bad Bunny and Michael Jackson and a whole bunch of people. Some crazy stories I might or might not be able to relay about that. But the room is it really is a state of the art room. It's a suspended room in a Faraday cage with a 350 or 375 pound isolation transformer, which what that does is, and most people don't really know what that does. An isolation transformer separates the listening room, from the rest of the house. So when someone turns on opens the refrigerator or turns on a hairdryer or whatever, you're not getting that electrical interference. It's basically two windings, copper wire, two very, very large windings. And so when the electricity goes through both, it arcs. Electricity is transferred from one winding to the other, but there's no physical connection. So it isolates from the rest of the house. So it's coming together. I'm making a video series on the listening share on our YouTube channel, and it will be in our Facebook group also. And everything's coming together, and the video series should be really cool. I ordered the internal acoustic materials. I have a contractor. We have design plans, and we have lighting plans. The lighting's going to be really badass. State of the art lights. I didn't want this, but while we were doing it, all different colors and stuff, really crazy. But to get back to your question, so one of the things we're getting is this isolation transformer from one of the partners on the project, which is Taurus. Everybody basically knows that Taurus, located in Canada, is the place to go for isolation transformers.
There's really good stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, I live on a private road. It's very narrow. You can't park on the road. They'll give you a ticket because there's not enough room for an ambulance to get through if you park on the road. So the isolation transformer is coming. I get a phone call from a trucking service, and about 11 o'clock in the morning, and the guy says, "Hey, I'm here. I'm on a 16-wheeler. I can't make it up your block. Come and get this isolation transformer." So I'm like, "Oh, great." So I get my SUV and I drive to the end of the block, and sure enough, this guy's waiting there. And he's pretty smart. He's done this before. He just basically, I back into him. Now I'm facing the wrong way in traffic, and I think a cop's going to come down on me to get a ticket. But he basically raises and lowers his lift gate until it's exactly even with the back of my SUV, and he then pushes it very easily into my car, and then says goodbye. And I said, how do I get this into my house? And it's like, I have no idea, man. So he takes off, and so I'm driving up. My house is on a hill, and I'm driving up, and my rear hatch couldn't close because this big. And let me see if I can get you a picture here. Let me see.
You said this is Taurus Power, right?
This is Taurus. No, this is Taurus Power delivering. Yeah. So I hit present, right, and then I hit slides or video. What do I hit, Josh? Share screen.
Just present. You can share a screen or share a window.
Okay. Yeah, and so for folks that are joining us while Howard's pulling this up, feel free to drop questions or comments in, and welcome to Symphonics, who's here with us, and he says that he knows as few people have done the isolation power in Japan, that kind of thing. And see, for me, I would love to do that in my home theater because I think I have some of the nastiest, dirtiest power in the world here in Colorado. I mean, it is just full of noise. And I've discovered that some gear is way more sensitive to it than others. So that's outstanding. I assume those are not super cheap though, considering they are just like huge, 200 pounds, 300 pounds of copper, right?
Well, this was pretty expensive. I think the retail is like 15 grand or something like that, 14 grand.
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
But they do make smaller ones and lighter ones down to mine's going to be like a electrical panel that goes on the wall. But they do make ones that are like component size that go in your rack. So they get quite I don't say inexpensive, but quite reasonable, really.
Yeah, Taurus does have like a power conditioner that you can buy just for your audio equipment rack, and it's the same deal. Like it's all audio transformers, AVR regulated, real nice stuff.
Yeah, so I'm driving up with the hatchback up my hill, my block, and I'm like, I know this thing's gonna fall out, man. I just know it's gonna, because I'm on such a steep hill. But somehow I made it up, and I'm in my driveway, and I look around, and every house that in my neighborhood, I know the people. And I'm like, no, there's not going to be a strong male, no offense, nothing sexist here, to help me get this out. And I really didn't want to leave my hatch open and rain, whatever. So,
350 pounds? That's like 4 strong males to get that thing out.
Yeah. So, but there was one pretty solid dude, both, in attitude and physical description, who helped me. And we kind of wedged it out of my car, and I put like a towel under it. We got a towel under it so it wouldn't scratch anything. And we just kind of lifted it. We catty-cornered it down to the ground. It was 2 feet in front of my garage. And then we catty-cornered it into the garage. And it was fine. And here's the final result. Everybody can see that?
Hey, let me pull it up. I got to add it in. There we go. Bam. Okay, got it.
Can you see that?
Yeah, you're live on the screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what it looked like. It's sitting there. That's the room where it's going to go. And it's gonna be pretty cool. I've ordered the acoustical panels. They're coming from Brazil. They're going to take 60 days to come in. I have a construction. I think I have a contractor. I think I have an electrician. I think I have an HVAC guy, and it's going to be pretty damn cool.
Nice.
And we're going to put a pretty damn cool listening chair in there. So
for sure.
Yeah. I think John here was in awe. All he could muster was the letter C. He's all like, C. That's good. I've been going through some gyrations in my theater, right? So, for folks that follow, my vision of the future for home theater, I'm a big predictor of direct view displays really displacing projection in all but the largest of home cinemas. I think you're going to have to be at the 200-inch screen size or bigger to really move that way down the line, because home theater has always been dictated. The design has been dictated by technology, and in the past, the only technology that you could use to get big enough screens was projection. And then that creates all these limitations on the room. It has to be dark and all this kind of crap, right? Well.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, it's
I think we lost Giles there.
Yeah. That's a good clip. We should use that clip as a picture of Giles.
Yeah, that is a good clip of him for sure.
But so while we wait for Giles, the room is in progress here, and it's pretty cool. And I'd love to see. Oh, Giles, you back with us?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I see ya.
I got the low network notification that just came
definitely a little grainy.
Yeah, you save a few bucks every month. No big deal, man.
No, this is the best that Comcast can offer. This is all I got.
I just upgraded to fiber 2 gigs up and down, and I'm not happy with it.
Really? I'm surprised.
Well, I don't know. It might be my Eero mesh routers that are. I gotta hardwire into the router and see if that's the problem, and then I gotta look at the mesh routers. But anyway,
yeah.
So you were saying, Giles, about your theater.
Yeah. So I'm moving away from projection. and I'm going to build through different direct display technology or direct view technology. So the first step is going to be 100-inch television, and then the next step is going to be like a 2:4:1 aspect ratio LED wall. That'll be coming down the line though. So so I don't know if you can see right here. There's like the frame sticking out for my old screen that I had, or the corner of it anyway. So I can empathize a bit with the room bill stuff, and I pulled my center channel out, and I had to learn how to fix a humongous drywall hole. So for folks that follow my Instagram, they've been able to kind of see me being a handyman construction guy with all this home theater improvement stuff. But it's kind of fun. I'm really looking forward to mounting that TV. I think I might do that vertical slat wall stuff. It's like
that's what we have.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like on felt, some kind of felt material is about that thick, and it gives you a little bit of acoustic damping, a bit, and some.
I thought it was about lighting. We have the strip lighting in the walls.
Oh no, this is like it's like wood slats that are vertical.
Oh,
like the diffuser hub and all those kinds of
style. Things. Yeah. Like what you see in the new Starbucks.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the whole wall in that, right? And that'll give you a little diffusion, a little absorption. Nothing that'll help on the low end, but maybe it'll help a little bit on the high end. But I think it'll just look good. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll look good.
So that is a plan as well, and I got to come up with a mount and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I've been doing my room thing as well, and I'm really excited for that. What about you, Ray? What construction jobs do you have going on?
I don't have any construction jobs at home, but there's a lot of moving and shaking going on. I just got so much stuff in for review, stuff that I'm behind on. So there's a lot coming soon, and
can you give us a sneak peek of some of the things that's going to be happening?
Well, I got the Stark Sound Beta 7s.
Ooh, I heard those. I like them a lot.
I do like those a lot. Those have made some features in some recent videos, but they haven't made it to the dedicated spotlight quite yet. But they'll make it to the dedicated spotlight. And then I got the Fosse Audio MC351, I believe it is, or M351. But that's a pretty cool piece. And I've also got a couple headphone things going on, and and the Aperion Audio E2 power amplifier.
Oh, is that their AB version or?
Yeah, it's a AB amplifier.
That's a big boy, right?
It is big, yeah. But the thing about it is it's big because they use the same chassis throughout their entire line of the E series. So the E series can be just 2-channel, or it could be up to, I believe, 8 channels. So they use the same chassis. So basically, it's a slot type amplifier unit in the chassis. So in the one that I have, the chassis is mostly air because it's only two of those slots are filled.
Gotcha.
But if all slots are filled, then it becomes quite a big deal. But it's a big case because of that. Right
on. Well, let's take a couple of comments here and some questions.
One second, Joe. I just want to say, not to overtake my time here, but that's what the room's going to look like.
Yeah, it's going to look awesome.
It is going to look awesome.
That's from the construction plans. So, so it's going to be cool.
That's beautiful. I can't, dude. When it's done, road trip. I'm going to come. Well, plane trip.
Listen, man. When it's done, everybody's coming in. Manufacturers are coming in from around the world. I already got commitments. YG's bringing in their flagship speaker, or their semi-flagship, not the $750,000, not the one with all the big bass, but right below that, the Sonya line. And Esoteric's going to be the electronics, manufacturer of choice there. They're our partner, and it's going to be real badass. So everyone's going to come down. Everyone's going to shoot pool outside by the water and go. We got 4-wheel driving on the beach here, on my beach, and great restaurants and vineyards and stuff. And then somebody go fishing in the backyard. It's going to be real cool.
Tell YG that if they don't send over that double 21 subwoofer, you're just not down with them.
I don't know.
The one is like a unit here.
The Invincible, yeah.
That may be too much subwoofer for me. You know what I mean? I mean, that thing, if you're not careful, that could take down your house.
You just have to use the power wisely. Yes. Right? Just turn. You don't have to do this.
That subwoofer and the Magico subwoofer. I remember one time I was sitting in Magico's factory with Alon Wolf, the owner and the designer, and he had invited me over in California to check out his new speaker. No one had really heard it yet. I was the only person outside of the factory who would hear it. And I'm listening. He says, how does the bass sound to you? And I said, oh, it sounds pretty good. And he looked at me and he's quite a character. And he said, oh, wait, you listen at home with subwoofers, don't you? And I said, yes. He picks up the phone and he calls and he's like, bring the sub in. And they came in with the inside like a little tractor or whatever to carry this, like, how many pound, this is indoors. This thing, they opened up some doors in the room and this machine came in and they dumped off this, like, whatever, hundreds of pounds, 800-pound, 1,000-pound subwoofer. And they hooked it up and it was incredible.
That's awesome. That's cool. All right. So a couple of comments here. So first off, C is the answer. And then we've got Eloise smiles. Okay. And then we have a question. Yo. When it starts with yo, is it always Sylvester Stallone's voice that you use? I think it has to be Sylvester Stallone's voice. Yo, I've got a turntable problem. I don't know how to do his voice. My Audio Technica LPW50PB, Ray will know exactly which one that is, gives off a 60 hertz hum. So 60 hertz is power, right? It could be noise from my receiver, though no other turntable I've owned has this problem. And then I'm considering replacing it with a Fluence RT82, but I'd rather keep the AT if I can get rid of the hum, especially if it's cheaper. So Ray said, did you ground the turntable or is it a built-in phono preamp? That's a good question. And he says,
that's what
it's grounded to the nut on my Denon stereo receiver using the Denon's internal preamp. And is it grounded on? So the elementary question is, you got the ground plugged in on one side. Did you plug it in on the turntable side? I assume the answer is yes, but you have to ask that question, right?
Yeah, because typically when you deal with hum, especially when that's power hum, of a turntable, I would almost always say it's got to be some sort of grounding issue.
99.9%.
Yeah, 99.9% of the time. If you're not getting it with any other turntable, I think that's probably really indicative. Or if you just switch to on your receiver, going off of a digital source or something like that, then it's got to be at the turntable end. So it could be that the grounding cable, there's something wrong with the grounding cable. It could be something wrong with the grounding nut on the turntable side, because certainly there has to be a connection there. It could be on the cartridge itself, because the ground plug has to be solidly connected there. So if that somehow has gotten severed or has gotten disconnected, or there's some misalignment on the contact there, because all those cables, those phono cables are so thin and they're so sensitive, one little thing can throw it all off. I'm not sure if you can open this thing yourself. I'm just trying to look for some pictures of this.
I would also try to ground it somewhere else than onto the receiver.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be an absolute ground. It's just a relative ground. So you could ground it to almost any piece of metal.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and if you can take that turntable, unplug it with the cabling, leave the cabling, take another turntable, plug it in, use the same cabling, and the ground hum goes away, then for sure it's something with that turntable. And like Ray said, maybe it's up at the cartridge level. But if you can, without changing the cabling, put a different unit in and it's perfect, then it's something with that unit.
Yeah, that's the key for 60 hertz hums is isolation and just rule out what it is one step at a time. There's no easy way to do it.
Yeah, both ends are grounded. That's good. Might be the cartridge. Doesn't want to buy another one if you don't have to. I agree. I wouldn't want to either.
Yeah, I wouldn't think. I would just check the cartridge cables. I don't think it's the cartridge itself, but I would just make sure that the grounding cable, which should be the green one, is just connected well, and there's no issue with that's visible from the tone arm.
Yeah, and you could also, I don't know if this would make much of a difference, but you could get like a cheater plug and use that for the power for the turntable, and see if that makes a difference. I don't know, maybe
that actually might improve your sound, believe it or not.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's yeah. because I like in my theater room, the power in there is just so horrible. I bought a couple of the dehummers. I don't know. They're the little box and you plug in, it's got a port on the back and whatever they do on the inside, you know,
The ones
knocks
that blink?
I think some of them blink. The ones I have don't blink,
Okay.
but it's just they're like called the dehummer or something like that, the dehummer Pro. And you know, I was very reluctant to use them because I didn't know if they, you know, it was legit or not. But you know, Amazon, I can return it if it doesn't work. And sure enough, plug that joker in, and maybe it's just a expensive cheater plug. You know, I don't know. There might not be anything inside of it except, you know, they just don't hook up the ground. But I use it, and then you know, I had some hum issues, and they all went away. And the noisy power seems to be much better too, because I have one amplifier that's super sensitive to noise, and you could plug it in and everything else is fine in the room, but that one, you know, just you can hear it coming, and when plugged into this thing, it's gone. So it, whatever magic it does, and it's audible. It's not like a nuanced thing. It's just, you know, hum was there and then hum is gone. So that might be something to do as well.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, on this model, you have the option for either the line input or the phono input. So if you use the built-in phono preamp instead of using the line out, that would probably be another thing that I would check and see if it changes.
Cool. All right, I think we have beat that horse into the ground. You know, folks, if you have more questions, feel free to drop them in. You know, they're anywhere between 20 and 50 you guys out there watching at one time. I'm sure someone has some questions. See if you can stump us. We love to be stumped. So Ray, did you, I need to go back and check out all your stuff. Did you do the review for that boulder already?
Yes, that came out this past Thursday.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with the boulder? Because I had a unit like that one a little while back, and I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It definitely seems like there's a lot of bass power in it. I think that's like the most notable quality.
Well, what is the unit for people that don't know?
It is the Boulder 861 power amp. So that is their entry level power amp. $9,250 for the unit. 50 watts into 8 ohms. 90 watts into 4, and they have some ratings for their peaks at each of those wattages, but the stable continuous power is the 50 and 90. So, but it's a really nice unit, only 22 pounds. So it's, you know,
wow.
Yeah. It's able to fit pretty much anywhere. It's a small footprint. It's meant to be used with the, no, it's Class AB.
Okay.
It's still Class AB. Yeah. It's, you know, it's able to fit pretty much anywhere. It's meant really to be used along with their 812, which is their DAC preamp. Does the 812 have streaming? I can't remember if the 812 has streaming or not. I feel like it doesn't. I think it's just a DAC preamp and headphone amplifier, but it has the same footprint as that piece. So it's kind of meant to be used that way. I didn't have that matching component, just the 861, but the 861, I mean, for its size, I think there's a portion of that where it has a little bit of that leaning into a more bassy sound, just because you probably aren't going to get those huge wattages that you'd need for, you know, really bass oomph. And I think that's what people would be looking for from a higher wattage amp. So it gives you a little bit more bass oomph in order to compensate for the lower power of output.
That's cool. Yeah, and it's a gorgeous piece of gear too.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
It always is with them.
That's one of the things I said in the review is, like, you know, almost no matter what company you go with, there's going to be a level of like the vinyl lettering, you know, some kind of more cheapy looking things on the amplifier, but the Boulder, everything's CNC'd into the chassis. So there's nothing that is, you know, vinyl or a sticker or anything. It's all CNC'd right into that chassis. If it's not CNC'd, it's not there. And it's like from the littlest detail to the biggest detail. And I really like too that the 6mm binding posts in the back that are spade only, they line up. So when you twist them all the way down, they line up diagonally like that. So
really,
yeah, so it lines up perfectly. which
That's a nice
is
touch.
is a real feat. And also that spade connector is really nice. Like versus any other amplifier I've ever tried. I gotta say that spade connector is the best I've ever seen. But I was like, yeah, it's like the lining up of the bolts on like an Audemars Piguet. You know, it's like they care about it so much that they made sure it lined up. And in some respects, like versus like an Audemars, it's even better because Audemars kind of cheats at that. Like they put screws in the bottom and it's bolts on top where you see the watch. Where with Boulder, it's actually the screws down are so precise that it matches perfectly.
Yeah, I mean they're nothing but meticulous.
Yeah.
In their design and implementation. So here's
if I could, Josh, so we had them on the HiFi Mafia, and I
Mhm.
think it was our last stream, was it? And so anybody who wants to find that can go onto the YouTube channel or go into the live section, and you'll see it on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I have a question, and this is kind of an older question. It came across a while ago, and I didn't have a good answer, and I wanted to wait till I had both of you guys on the show here to ask your opinions, and then anybody that's listening, if you have an opinion as well. But so for the Boulder 866, right, their integrated amplifier, what is the competition for that? Maybe is the Griffin 300 competition for that, and what others would there be? And the additional question was, so what's competition for the A66, and do any of them have a volume knob? So I figure that is a challenging enough question that I can't answer, that maybe you guys have some thoughts about.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of companies that the competition. I mean, it all depends. Boulder is an American company, so if you want to stick with an American company right off the bat, I'm thinking Macintosh, right? That's another company that's American. But I mean, there's just so many. Volume knob. That's really the tricky part of that question.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's just so many different. I think Audio Group Denmark with the Forte line. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a competitor right there, a strong competitor. And like you said, the Griffin has some great units. So I know I'd have to think about that though, to think which one has a volume control.
Yeah, the only when I think of volume control and around that price point, I would think of the new Sim Audio North. I believe it's the 681, might be the 681 or 691. I forget which middle digit is there, but that's probably right. I think that's right around the price point. Definitely has that volume knob. That's a really smooth volume knob too. It's not U.S. made, but still North America.
I would really look at Audio Group Denmark. Their stuff is for the money. Tough to beat.
Yeah,
the Forte 3 is
11,000.
Yeah.
What's that?
What'd you say, Giles?
I said I was just agreeing that the Audio Group Denmark stuff is always great. I love it. Now, I just did a Google shopping question, and I said, give me a list of $10,000 USD integrated amplifiers. And here's what the Google brain spit out. So and obviously these aren't all the same kind of thing, because I didn't tell what to compare against, I guess. But Balanced Audio Technology has a tube integrated for 10 grand. Mark Levinson number 5805 integrated is 10,500, and it's got two knobs on it. Yamaha has an integrated amplifier for 6 grand. I don't know if I would consider that a competitor or not. Bryston BI 200 for 8,500. There's another Balanced Audio Technology non-tube for 8 grand for sale at the music room that they're closing out the model. Cambridge Audio has a $6,000 integrated. So they're like you said, just billions of options of gear. Luxman, you can get a pre-owned, pre-loved Luxman L509X for 7 grand. That would be awesome.
That stuff always makes a strong. Their recent stuff always makes a strong showing.
Yeah, there's the name Unity Nova PE as well. That's a new piece.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a really nice knob.
This is a side note, and maybe for a different day. But did you know I wrote an article on this? Luxman was started in the 1920s. It's one of the oldest audio companies, and it was started in a hat store. And the guys when the radios first came out, the guys put one or two radios on the floor, and people were so taken aback by them that eventually they got rid of the hats and they moved into the audio. But that's a whole story for a different day. It's pretty interesting, actually.
So here's one that I would love to play with myself, because this really speaks to me. And you guys out there should Google this one and take a look at it. I think this thing is amazing. The Lingdorf TDAI-3400 integrated with room correction technology at $8,000. Dude, that thing I love.
Yeah,
that.
Daniel has that piece.
Yeah. It's super cool.
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how it performs. Let's put it that way.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like the way it looks, though. I do like it. And you can have a little tiny CD player that matches. Oh, it's so cool. It's like the old stacks from like the 80s or whatever that you'd buy with the glass door that opens up the components. But better in every way. I'm on their webpage looking through the stack of it, and it's super cool.
So I got a really cool story. If you want open to another story, hey Scotty.
Hey Scotty,
you guys up for it? So
yeah, man, shoot, do it.
My wife was going into the main town around here, and then my wife says, "Oh, can you just stop off at Compost and you can drop off?" And at this point, I'm not even going to tell anybody where it is and can you drop off Compost? And so I love going there because there's an electronics dump there where people just bring their stuff, and it's the coolest stuff in the world. I mean, mostly worthless, but like if you're into like old school 80s VCRs that look cool and old kind of CD players, and there's a lot of
I love that stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's just so cool looking.
I have, as an aside while you're talking, I have to get a VCR. So anybody out there that has the extra one, that's awesome.
There's plenty of them in there. So I get there, and but it's just great. I mean, there's a lot of old flat screen TVs or a lot of tube TVs and stuff. Like there was one that was like a little kid's toy that was a TV in the front and like a fire engine in the back. Just really badass stuff. Anyway, so I get there, I jump off the Compost, and I walk into it's a shipping container, and I walk in there, and what do I see? I see an SAE early 1970s beautiful amplifier and a Sound Craftsman equalizer, phono preamp, and preamp. So let me just kind of let's see.
Are you talking about like the A501 kind of stuff or something like that?
No, this was the C31. 3C. Hold on, let me see if I can get it here. So can I get this up? Okay.
I'm trying to look it up.
3C. It was the 3C. So let's see. Why is this not coming up? I have pictures of this. Let's see.
Yeah, those sell for like $1,400.
Yeah, when they work and are in good.
Yeah, when they work.
Yeah. So let me try to do this again. For some reason, it's not.
There's a whole world of content in that pile there, Howard.
Yeah, that's right. Howard, you should just go there. I mean, and get stuff, and that you just bring one every Sunday and show. Look what I found this week.
Well, I do that in the Facebook group, but I have a photo of it actually in the dump, but here is what it looked like when I put it in my room over there.
Oh, look at that. That is so cool, wow. Man. That is awesome.
That looks awesome. Yeah.
That is really, 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 dude, I love that equalizer.
Yeah. So, and a phono pimp. So I actually
left and right channel dedicated. That's super cool.
Yeah. And so this is a 3C, and it's one of the early, it's the first line that they ever did. It's one of the earliest ones. It's one of the most sought after. I plugged in the Sound Craftsman, and it lights up, and everything looks, I don't know. We'll see. We'll hope for the best. SAE does not light up. I made a few phone calls to people like Steve Rowell at Audio Classics, and he gave me some advice. They're so busy now with their repair line that they're just only really doing Macintosh stuff now. But anyway, so I had that, and then I'll show you guys what I did. Let's see. So then I pull up this weekend. One of my projects were to, let's see, share screen, Windows.
Yeah, I look around here, and the only stuff I can find is like Sparkomatic.
That was my project this weekend.
Let me click. Oh, there you go. You got it all in a little rack right there.
Yeah, so it's not the best hi-fi rack, but for this purpose, and it's temporary. And I have my Sound Craftsman test record up on top. I put that in the now playing. And on the bottom, I'm going to put my 1970s Philips GA312 turntable, and that's going to be it, man.
See, I think that's cool, and I would actually like to do like a vintage 70s stack as well. That is similar to that, and of course, I would mate it with modern sources, but for preamp and amplifier, I would love to get some cool vintage stuff like that. I hit the thrift stores all the time trying to find stuff, but here in Colorado, there's just nothing.
Let me tell you the most badass part of it. I am going to get some vintage monster cable interconnects and speaker cable.
That's cool too. Yeah, that takes me way back. I love it.
Yep. And so that's that. And let's see. So so I'm going to take people through. I should probably do a YouTube. I will do a YouTube video actually on it, and just keep people posted in the progress. The problem with some of the vintage gear is it's just not worth fixing. Like for this, I want to fix it, so I'm going to spend the money because I want it. But a lot of times you exceed the value of the unit. But it's going to be a cool project. It's going to be my second vintage system. I have my Luxman L3 integrated amplifier.
Oh, that's sweet too.
And my I'm going to pair this with I have a lot of acoustic research speakers. So I'm going to pair with this system. I'm going to pair with acoustic research speakers, either the smaller AR-18s or the earlier AR2AX, which the SAE probably warrants. But I have another vintage system too. So anyway, just a cool project. Oh, and then I did want to say one more thing. So, of course, last week I went back there and I'm like, hey, honey, do you have any compost you want me to drop off? Because I'm going to, and I walk in there and I have a picture somewhere. I post it on Facebook and I'm looking around and what do I see? There's a Marantz Blu-ray player. I think at 4600, I think DV 4600, all the way in the back. I was didn't see a remote control. That was the only hi-fi gear I really saw. I was not going to climb over all this sharp stuff. If it was another Sound Craftsman or SE, I would have climbed over it. No, not even a second thought. But I don't need another Blu-ray player around here. So anyway, if I see a VCR, Giles, I will let you know.
Right on. Well, all that stuff, just, when you find those things, grab them and we'll, I'll pay you shipping to tool around with some of those things. But I'm actively on the lookout to build that 70s silver, not black. It can't be, but it's got to be silver stack of stuff. Weird, esoteric kind of out there, classic kind of gear. So Home Theater Denmark, number 110 dB or 110 dB club says hello from Denmark. And, he or she is obviously a fan of the Focal, and apparently they're a fan of the Miller Kreisel gear as well. As that's their thumbnail right there, all THX certified. And if you see that subwoofer, the one that's closest in the foreground of their thumbnail, looks like a what is it, an X15 Plus, which I have one of right over here that I love a lot. So it's a good.
Ray, can you disclose, Ray, are you getting paid for this Focal thing?
Am I getting paid for the Focal thing? I wish. I've been accused by some other manufacturers of getting paid by Focal, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, if you truly believe that, let's get some money and I'll promote your product.
You know what? If anybody wants to pay, I will absolutely do backgrounds. I'll wear your shirt. I'll wear your hat. I'll even wear your headphones.
If anyone wants to pay me, because I know Ray, who allegedly is not making any money from the Focal.
Yeah, I know. I have yet to receive a paycheck from Focal. I'm sure it's in the mail. I'm sure it's in the mail though.
We're all transparent here, so that's all good.
Yeah, we all know that we love money. I love money. I can't speak for you guys. I love money. I love getting paid.
You know, that was going to be my hot topic. Are we going to end at 4 here? Because this might be too spicy for only for 5 minutes.
I gotta roll here pretty soon because we're going mattress shopping, and the wife says that's high priority. So just FYI.
Okay.
But I think maybe we should just go ahead and do the final closeout round robin, and then we'll save this topic for next time. So what is this spicy topic going to be that we talk about for next time?
All right. So my spicy topic for next time is, why isn't HiFi more popular? And I think it revolves a lot around the money idea, but I think that also the way that HiFi gets compared is in the way of hobbies. When we talk about like luxury items like watches or high-end cars, the reason why those particular things are so popular is very different than the actual product or thing itself. There's an external factor that comes into play. But we'll talk more about how that relates to HiFi in the next episode.
That will be spicy. I like it. All right, so let's quick channel, social, what are you doing, catch ups as we close out. And Howard, we'll start with you. So what should people know about you and the stuff that you've got going on?
Sure. At the Listening Chair on pretty much most of the social media platforms, and on our YouTube channel, Listening Chair with Howard Neller, and in our YouTube group, on our Facebook group. We got a bunch of stuff going on. Follow the progress of the restoration of that vintage system. I'm going to keep everybody posted on that, as well as my further trips to the now undisclosed location where I find all this stuff. And we have Stephen Stone, who just reviewed the Shit Skull phono preamp for us. That was a very popular review, and he's
another Colorado guy, by the way.
What's that?
Another Colorado guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that one because I have a review of the Skull myself.
Okay, well, don't watch it beforehand. And then so Steven's now reviewing the Verify Audio Calderon 10 subwoofer, and Colin Saunders up in Canada is reviewing the Isosonic LP record cleaner, and he's finished off his Prime VPI Prime review. I have from Verify, I have the Snubway, so one of those little noise reduction devices. It's not a home device, but it's and also we're going to be focused on making the videos for my listening room on how that progress is coming. We're going to be interviewing all the vendors and showing. I just bought a camera. I was talking to you guys about. I just bought a GoPro. We're going to do time lapse photography on making the room, and we have a million other things. So find us in the Facebook group. Find us on YouTube. We're out there and we're busy.
Cool. All right, Ray. What about you? What's going on in your life?
Everything and more. So, definitely follow, subscribe at HiFi Turtle on all the platforms. The #1 reptile adjacent HiFi page on the internet. Lots of good stuff, lots of interesting stuff, more content. I'm going to try to do some more kind of non-HiFi, or maybe not non-HiFi, but more like non-review content in the near future. So be on the lookout for that.
That's cool. I like it. And then for me, Cedia is this week, so I'll be there doing a bunch of paid content. So you guys will see all that stuff come across my channel. So I'm excited for that because I like to create content and I like to get paid. So two of my favorite things. I've been building a new rig for my iPhone shooter. This is a cage that allows me to mount all my stuff so that I can record in ProRes 442. You got the new Samsung T9 SSD that mounts here on the top. This is a USB hub so that I can have external recording for the ProRes video footage with the audio. Then I can also have my USB microphone attached. Then over here, I'm going to have a 10,000 milliamp hour Anchor, much better than the what is it?
NIU.
The NIU,
NUE as Daniel calls it.
Which burst into flames, at the slightest whim.
That's why Dan is not here. His house burned down.
Yeah, but this guy is very heavy, and it's proudly emblazoned with the Anchor logo, and he'll sit over here.
Well, what does the whole thing weigh?
I don't know, like 5 pounds or something, not even. So you get the battery here, and that powers everything. Then you've got your SSD, and this is a monster. This is the new Samsung T9. You have to check it out. This is only the 2 terabyte. They have a 4 terabyte version, but it's like $500 or something. Yeah. Then super fast USB-C hub, which then the camera is the sensor, and then I'll have lenses that mount on the front as well. So,
Wait,
what's I'd love to.
What are you using for the camera? Using the phone?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And
cool. I got to get one of those. What brand is it?
This is it's a small rig cage.
Yeah.
And I've got my second. So the handle on this side has got the Bluetooth shutter release.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be able to hold this and that, and then I'll have this shoe will mount here, and then I'll mount this on my tripod. And this is and then this is my walk around kind of frame, right? So it allows you to really get high quality content out of the Apple, right? So the cameras in these are really, really good. The only thing that you don't get is zoom, right? You don't get a real glass, and you don't get real bokeh. But other than that, they're very capable sensors. It's just that the phone can't record internally ProRes at high quality, and you want that ProRes when you're doing high quality recording. That's why you have to use the external and attach all that stuff. So I'm really excited for that. I'm going to use that to film everything at the show.
What's the brand again? What's the brand again, Josh? For
the cage?
Yeah.
This is small rig.
Small rig. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll have the other camera handles on order. So this is a small rig cage. The small rig handles. This is the small rig T9 or Samsung SSD holder. These are OEMs. I don't know. This is a Anker, I think Anker. No, Belkin USB hub, Anker power, and then of course I already showed you the SSD. So
how do you get image stabilization?
It's built into the phone.
Just built in the phone, yeah.
Yeah, but I am primarily going to use this as a tripod mounted rig, and I'll do a little bit of walk around with it this way,
right.
But mostly this is for tripod mount.
Okay.
And I'm using a Ray's camera for most of my high motion shots.
The Pocket 3, yeah.
Yeah, the Pocket 3. That thing is so cool. And it's on a full gimbal already. And for walking around, that thing is amazing.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, excuse us for talking shop here, but any creators out there were probably interested. So
yeah, it's good stuff. And you guys know how I like to use kind of the alternative technology solutions for things, and this is kind of an alternative technology solution. Like if you look at the content Ray puts out with his, what is this, Sony, right?
Yeah, my Sony.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, right? It's beautiful. But you got to carry that glass around. Of course, with this huge rig, I might as well just get some glass and carry it around too. But it's just me being
it's
weird, right? Yeah. So that takes amazing photographs. But for me, it's all about the video, and I want to be able to record that ProRes out of an Apple. And then because I upgrade this every year, right? And I need a rig like this so that you just swap in and out the pieces as you need to. So I really like it. Anyway, so that'll be helping me out at Cedia, and then of course my big project is the room. But I have a litany of other projects I'm working on. I just installed some new Dayton Audio M6s, I think it is here, which are surprisingly good. They're only like $299 or $399, something like that. Really great price, and the sound stage is amazing for monitors. But yeah, that's what I got.
Oh, and I just want to add one thing. Our listening share website is coming this week. So listeningshare.net. Nice. So we're going to make an announcement wide and far about that. So.
Cool. Van Gool says, I want to get the iPhone 16 Pro for the camera upgrades and the capture button. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be first in line for that one myself. And I also use a Samsung S24 Ultra. That's my.
I heard the folding phone is possibly the iPhone 17, but it's not going to have the high-end camera on it.
Yeah,
that's the same way Samsung is. They don't put their highest end camera on the folding one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, really, the primary use of my phone is as a camera, and the phone piece is secondary, honestly. All right. Okay, I think we're at a good point.
Thank you,
everybody out there, thank you so much for joining. And for the whole HiFi Mafia crew, thank you guys for jumping on today and chit-chatting a bit. It's always a wonderful time with you. And our plan is to be back again next Sunday, potentially with a guest. We'll see how that goes. And if anybody out there has votes for, the time that we air, let us know if you like the Sunday or if you think a different time frame would be good. We're trying to figure out what that looks like for the future. But for the immediate future, at least it'll still be Sundays at about 2 Mountain Time. And with that, take care, everybody. See you.
Awesome.
See you, everyone.
All right, guys. Thank you, everybody.